Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Kristen.
Kristen is back.
Yay.
Welcome back from South Dakota.
Yep.
I guess welcome back. Your home is South Dakota, so welcome back to the Atlas home. How's that?
Well, I used to live here, so it's kind of my second home.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So Kristen, again, as she has done previous times, has brought us some more beer from South Dakota. This time, Lost Cabin Beer Company, Rapid City, South Dakota. Mm-hmm. Give us a little bit of background on Lost Cabin. How did you discover them the first time?
I think I just discovered them through other people and just Facebook and whatever. And my husband and I always kind of keep an eye on the.
Wow, you've got a drinking problem.
It is so good that we don't. There's no video with this. I just made a giant mess. This crowler couldn't have been any more full.
I think that's the second mess.
Don't take a picture of this.
No, I need to.
Peterson. Gosh darn it.
I just need to document this.
All right.
That's all.
Oh no! And now Jamie's got to.
That's for the official Atlas page there.
Oh, my God.
This is just for my personal scrapbook.
Okay,
That's
Kristen,
funny.
please continue.
Okay, so yeah, my husband and I just checked out the.
Do you know how to
Brewery.
pour beer? I'm sorry about this.
I don't understand what's happening.
My goodness.
What is happening?
I don't even want to give you my glass, but I'm going to. Holy cow.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait
Here,
until
I'm
he
gonna
pours. 'Cause
dry
this is
that
gonna
off here
happen.
for you.
There. That's
Oh, that's better. Thank you.
See, it only took. Look, and it still smells.
Oh my gosh.
And some depressing music to it.
Oh man,
That was really bad,
this
Rich.
is really really bad.
All right.
Kristen, please.
Okay. So yeah, my husband and I just went and checked it out, as we do with any kind of brewery that opens up, and it's very cool. Like when Lost Cabin, you kind of feel like you're in a lost cabin. It's a very kind of rustic, remote feeling, but super comfy, cozy atmosphere. They often have food trucks outside, and it's just, they have board games. You can sit at the big, wooden handmade, tables and play kind of any vintage board game that you can find. And
Okay.
it's just really fun.
Very family friendly then.
Yes,
Okay.
and dog friendly.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
They let their people bring their dogs in.
As any good brewery should.
Mm-hmm.
I might have missed this in the whole debacle that you did, but where's this place? What town are we in?
Well, this is actually in Rapid City.
Rapid
Yeah.
City.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
where I live. So
Yeah.
So what I can see right now, just of the artwork, after you've cleaned it up, very cool Crowler logos. I like those quite a bit. It's got like a wood background feel.
yep.
Nice trees in there. It looks good.
So the beer you brought us two different ones. The hazy IPA I'm saving for
himself.
For myself.
I did bring that just for you.
that I might share with Brian. I don't know, maybe. And this one here, Brian has corrected me multiple times. This one's called PowerWolf. It's a Schwartz beer. Schwartz.
You're super close.
It's okay.
Excuse me. Add a V into that. How you're saying it's Schwartz beer.
Schwarz beer.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And
Schwarz.
it's German for black beer.
Oh.
That's a literal translation.
Okay.
So what it is basically, it's on the doorsteps of a stout. It's very similar with the roasted malts. That's what's giving it this color.
Okay.
So it's going to be like the beginning stages of that. So it'll be kind of roasted, dark. You'll get some chocolate and coffee flavors with this beer. If they took it a little bit further, you could get it to a porter or a stout. But this is kind of like starting on that level.
The smell reminds me of a Oktoberfest. So
Okay, that's
good.
Am I not too far off?
Well,
then?
let's I haven't.
All right, we'll try it.
Yeah.
PowerWolf. That's just a cool name. Schwarz beer.
Yeah, that's good. It's a lager, so it's cold fermented. It's just like a lot of the beers we've had before. Only difference is the roasted malt and the notes of this thing. So just be a little bit roasty.
I would argue this is nothing we've had before.
Flavor-wise, different.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
same family of beers. This is a beer that you would want to drink cold. You don't want this to get warm.
No. So the first drink was I did not. Whoa, I don't know if you saw my face there, but
I did.
yeah, the first drink was not very good at all. Now the second one's better.
You were expecting something else?
I was expecting something completely different.
I think it's good.
Well, an expectation can kind of set you up to fail.
Absolutely.
Like your
Oh
palate.
no, and then see,
yeah.
Third drink is good. I can drink a lot of that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true with everything he does.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like first time
Whoa.
third time. This might be one of the best beers I've ever had.
There's some soap in the line or something. Something doesn't taste right. No, then it's fine.
Then you're good. Then you're acclimated.
Right.
I would also throw out here. I don't know how clean these glasses are. I try, but that could have something.
I did notice you wash it out with the hand soap.
I do.
Which I guess it's fine. I
do.
know.
Because otherwise, the other option that I've seen around here
Yeah.
is just let it sit in the sink for a week and then
That's gross.
wipe it down. So I did wash them, yes.
I don't think I've washed my coffee cup in however many years. I rinse it out. How's that? Is that okay?
Let's talk about the beer. This should be alcohol range for this style should be like on the low end, 4.5 to maybe 6 at the top, at the very top.
They wrote 5 on the
Okay, so
on the
5
label
ABV,
here.
so that's good. That's really good. These can be sometimes bitter just because of the way that it's brewed and boiled, because the style is probably, let's see, I think the first time I found it documented was 1390, and then like continuously made since 1530s is what I found. So that's definitely old school, and that's how we used to make beer, old school way. So hops and stuff like that would be in the boil and giving it that bitterness that you usually don't like.
Well, yes.
So it's not like we're not drinking like a bitter IPA, but
Right.
there can be some bitterness to these kinds of beer.
Okay.
But also they can sometimes end up a little bit sweet, like an Oktoberfest. That might have been what you were smelling.
Honestly, that's what I expected, and maybe
A little
that's why the first drink wasn't.
Yeah, I could see
don't
that,
know.
I guess.
Yeah. So here's what's interesting: knowing what we've known, what we've talked about so far through however many of these episodes. So the black beer, right, and it's been around for however long, 1500s, whatever. They had no refrigeration back then. So how are they keeping it cold? I mean, is it just they're
In
just
the ground.
putting it in the ground?
In the ground, in a cave, in the wherever. But
Okay.
it's for sure.
Wow.
That's why this style of beer is prevalent in the northern United States. Lagers are everywhere in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North South Dakota,
Yep.
Upper East Coast, because it's always cold and it has always been cold. Even in the summer, it doesn't get that warm.
Yep.
So if you've got a storm cellar or a root cellar, you're gonna be fine. You can make beer in that sort of stuff.
Root cellar. That's not something I think
I heard
thought
that from
we'd
the
talk
farm,
about
you know,
today.
your root vegetables
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah. Interesting.
So there's a brewery in Germany, and I know I'm not going to say this right, but I'm going to say Krostritzer, and they've been making this beer since 1534.
Wow.
We can buy it here in the United States, but they've been making it ever since then, 1530s.
Huh.
Pretty cool. This style is super big in what would be considered Eastern Germany, not East Germany like it used to be, but just Eastern Germany, and this is
Okay.
like their regional style of beer that they make.
Oh.
Some United States versions you might have had or you can get. Sam Adams has a black lager that would be very similar to this.
Okay.
There is one from New Belgium called 1554 that
Yes.
you might have seen. That's also a version of this style
I
beer.
thought that was a saison. I didn't.
Nope.
No. Okay. Interesting.
It's a good, I would say it's a good version of this.
Oh.
This one is probably a little bit more roasty. That one's a little bit darker in color.
Okay.
Maybe truer to the definition of black that we would think of, but you know, when this was named or whatever, this was black. So
Interesting.
those are a couple of the versions I could find, but it's not a very popular or prevalent style.
It's not one that I see on menus a whole lot. Kristen, what was the motivation behind bringing this one? Was it one that they had just done, or?
I had tried it the last time we were there a few weeks ago, and I just and drawn to the IPAs. Like I had the hazy IPA that they do, which is really good, and a couple others. They have a Sodank IPA, play on the Sodak wordage. But I kind of like to, kind of go back and forth between like a dark beer if it's kind of a, I don't know, I kind of like that malty roasted, rounded flavor. I don't know. I just
Yeah, if
kinda
you like
that.
coffee, you'd like this
Yeah.
style of beer.
I guess that's the weird anomaly with me is I love coffee.
Yeah.
If I had to, this was a conversation Seitner and I had a while back, as we're in an airport just waiting for an airplane. Like if you had to give up coffee or beer, like you had to give up either coffee or beer, what would you give up?
Well, that's a tough question. Do I want to live a long time? I'd probably give up the beer. do I want to live enjoyably? I'd probably give up the coffee.
Interesting.
I
Do
could
I have
give up
to-
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to. I can do with or without it.
I could not give up coffee.
I've done it before. I've done both before.
You've given up beer?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, when I used to come back from Mardi Gras, when I would go down, and this is pre-craft beer, I would like physically need to give it up for a while because I had had so much,
Yep.
beer, like Bud Light in my veins and stuff for
Yeah.
a week. And then it just became a test of like, can I do it? And then it became a thing of like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And people don't expect me to do it, and I love to do things that people don't expect me to do.
Sure.
That's just me. That's in my DNA. So, yeah, for sure.
Okay. That'd be tough, but
Makes
I
you
don't know.
appreciate it more when you come back to it too.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I had to order, and this is a stretch. I understand.
Right. You needed it.
I had to order a Bud Light Lime the other day. I'm not proud of it.
Okay.
But I drank it, and it was rather refreshing.
There you go.
I'm not proud of it.
Were you at a Mexican restaurant?
No.
No?
No.
Because I kind of think it goes well with,
Oh,
the
sure.
right type of food.
But anyway, that was just. I was kind of embarrassed. I sent a picture to Corey, and I said, I'm not proud of this, but it had a lime in it too, and it was hot.
Oh.
It was hotter for Nebraska.
Oh, the temperature. I thought the beer.
No, and that was the problem. They were having the place where we went to eat was having problems with their taps, and the tap beer was warm, and you couldn't order that. And so it was like Busch Light, I don't even know, Miller Lite, Bud Light Lime. Like that was the bottle selection. Like,
There's no shame in that one. I've had a couple of those myself.
yeah, it's just kind of nice.
The other reason I ordered that one is because of the name. I mean,
PowerWolf.
PowerWolf. I mean, you
damn
have
cool name.
to.
Yeah,
For
Yeah.
sure. I love
And
it.
it ended up being really good. And my husband ordered something different, and he tasted mine, and he's like, "You want to trade?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Is he a dark beer guy generally too, or is he?
We do
IPAs?
both. Yeah,
Okay.
IPAs typically, and we'll throw a dark beer. He likes a black IPA as well. He likes
That's
a
another
good,
style that you don't see too much of.
and they have a good black IPA.
We haven't done a black IPA, have we? I don't think.
Not on here. Not yet.
No.
No.
Interesting.
Next time, I will bring one.
Oh, okay. So here's what I found out about the brewery. I'll touch on this real quick, and
Yeah.
then we'll find out what Brian's got for us here. Lost Cabin Beer Company this is super awesome. It's on Omaha Street.
It is.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Omaha
Yeah.
Street.
Isn't that
There
cool?
we go. 1401 West Omaha Street, number 3, Rapid City, South Dakota. Open Monday through Thursday, 3 to 10. Friday and Saturday, noon to 11. Saturday, noon to 7. And I know you've got a little more detail on this, which I find super interesting. Founded by, they both have really long, confusing last names. So I'm just going to go with first names. Jesse and Tom. Jesse and Tom founded it. Combined 20 years home brewing experience. They were introduced to each other by their wives.
Yes.
And opened the brewery in 2016. So it hasn't been around real long. So you actually know, you have some backstory on this.
Yes. So when my husband and I went, when they first opened, we went in and just kind of started chatting with the bartender, who is one of the founders' wives. And so she just kind of started telling us, like, how they kind of got started and where they came from. And I kind of like to know the backstory on a local brewery. I think it's kind of, important to know. It's community. So she told us that she and the other founder's wife had worked together and became really good friends and just started hanging out a lot, and they introduced their husbands, and they kind of never saw their husbands after that. They were home brewing and just really kind of doing that seriously, and they'd come out of the house, or the girls would be outside drinking wine or whatever, and they'd come up and say, "Okay, try this one," and then they just decided to go for it. So
This sounds like a win-win all around. Right?
There's nothing better than having a friend who is a good home brewer.
yeah.
I mean, you don't want to drink bad homebrew, but good homebrew.
Yeah.
If you have a friend that wants to share it off and share it with you, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the space that they are in is just it's just one of my favorite places to go. You always feel welcomed. It's just a super laid back. They have kind of community tables, so you're sitting at a long table with a bunch of other people, and like I said, there's board games and just fun and laid back. Everybody that works there, the wives, they bartend every you can see them there daily.
Yeah.
So they still work for themselves, and everybody is so friendly, super knowledgeable, and we just always have a good experience when we go in there. We take our kids in there sometimes, and they have a fun time too.
That is, and I've said this before, it's one of Maddox's favorite things to do when we're out doing whatever. He loves going to breweries. One, because there's board games. Generally, there's TVs, and there's always some sort of craft pop soda option or something for kids.
Yeah.
And so then he seems like he's super cool because he's drinking out of the bottle too or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was, as a kid, I was lucky enough to, when I was, down on the farm, it was Saturday and it was pitch day, going to town with my grandpa, and he'd play pitch with his buddies.
Yep.
That was like a glimpse into being an adult, right? Like, it was so awesome to go into a bar.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't, he would give me some money and I would play. They had a pinball game. And then if I was lucky, I would get some M&Ms at the end of the day if I was really good. But that was like some of my favorite things to do as a kid, So I can just imagine if this was there. Plus, it's just fun to see people, go out and about, and I think it's fun.
There is never a lack of things to do at a brewery generally.
Mm-hmm.
If there isn't board games, then they have bags or ladder ball or whatever.
Yeah, just being outside, fire pits, that sort of stuff.
For St. Patrick's Day, they brought in a huge. They were all playing bagpipes, and we're just going around in the parking lot and then through the bar, and out. Like, they have a garage door that opens, and
Nice.
out there, and it was really. It was fun. It was a good time.
All right, Brian, what do you got for us on this
So
one then?
I wanted to just pick up some touristy things around the area.
Yeah.
So if you're a nurse working around and you can't, well, maybe you can go to here every day, but let's say you don't want to go here every day, there's a lot of other things around this area. So what I'm going to do is hit us up with them, and I'm going to get your maybe just quick inside opinion. Is it worth it? Is it not? What's
absolutely.
the best thing about it?
Sweet.
So these maybe aren't in exactly the town, but they're close, or they're within a day's jaunt. Gateway to the Black Hills is what I heard. Is that the slogan of the town?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
Gateway to the
obviously,
west.
Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
Have you been?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Many times.
Many times. Is it cliche for you now to go there? Like, is it like, let's go back to
No, honestly, it is one of the most beautiful places in our country. I mean, it never gets old when you go and you kind of are driving up and you see it. It's kind of like you're seeing it for the first time every time. It's just beautiful. It's just so cool, and there's just so much meaning to it, and it's just a really cool thing. They do Easter up at Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
And so we typically will go up there, and take the kids and go. They have a huge, it's kind of a bowl, stadium type. And it's just pretty cool they usually bring in a really cool like music act, and the acoustics it's like Red Rocks, it's just amazing. So we usually will do that, and it's always a nice time. And I like being able to take nurses. I've taken a couple nurses up to Mount Rushmore, and they love it. They love it.
How old are your kids now?
They are 4, 6, and 8.
Okay. So, and your boy's 3, right? So I think the first time we took Riley and Scarlett was probably, she's 7, she'll be 17 at the end of this month. She was 5 the first time we took her. So that means Riley was 7. It was perfect. It was just perfect. It was, they called them the big heads.
Yep.
So it was
the faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I think of that, there's 2 things I think of. One is like, just the ingenuity and like
Yes.
the effort that it took. Like, it wasn't like a safe thing that they did.
No.
And like to watch the documentaries or the footage of them doing it, like it's just crazy that they would even think that this would be a good idea, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I think of, because when I went there, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right.
And the second thing is probably in almost 30 years now of being with my wife, the best photograph I ever took of her was at the monument, but facing the other way. So like my back was to the heads, and she was against this big slate
Yes.
rock, and it's been the best photograph of her I ever took in 30 years. So
Awesome.
whenever I see it, I think of that. So fun place to go for sure.
Yeah.
It's like
All
amazing.
ages. Yep.
And it's in a Hitchcock movie.
It is North by Northwest.
Oh, look at that.
I
One of my
wondered if they
favorites.
still have a cafeteria like that. Do they?
They do.
Nice.
Yes.
Really?
There's like
Yes.
a big, I don't want to, spoilers for a 60-year-old movie, but there's like a fake murder that happens in the cafeteria. It's pretty cool.
I need to watch this movie now.
It's good. Very good.
Reptile Gardens.
Yes, for kids especially. I mean, I think if you have a family, then it is worth it.
Definitely for kids, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. Custer State Park.
Have you been?
I have.
What do you think?
I liked it. I've seen better.
It's I've seen better Buffalo parks.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's great too.
There's
I've
some
been
great history there. That was one, like Teddy Roosevelt. That was he's a huge figure in the western part of the state, out in the Black Hills. He loved the Black Hills, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, you can drive through. Do not touch or try to feed or go up to a buffalo. Like, it's crazy that you have to tell people that, but you do.
Right.
Remember that guy last year that was out like punching him or whatever?
Yeah.
In Yellowstone and stuff.
Yes.
They had to like arrest him.
So
That guy's
stupid.
crazy.
So
Every time, like when I've been to places like this, you will always see people breaking the rules.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's always at Yellowstone too, and they always get it's always sometimes deadly. Like,
Yeah.
it's not safe.
It's your fault. It's
Yeah.
your own
Oh
fault.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And of course, then they kill the animal too. They're like, "Oh, the animal attacked the dude." Well, the dude was like feeding him
provoking it,
Pringles, and then he was trying to ride him.
yeah.
So
Let's take that into account.
right.
Yeah, he was 50 yards over the line of where he was supposed to. Yeah, he was not on the
I
trail.
remember
Yeah.
one. I can't remember where it was. Maybe it might have been at Yellowstone. There was this place where there was like Arctic tundra,
Okay.
technically, and like you weren't supposed to step on it.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like 1,000 years old or something, and there's just people walking over it like,
just
I was just
trampling
gonna go over there.
With
Like,
the bathrooms over
there's
there.
a sign, man.
Yeah.
Come on, have some respect. I don't know.
People ruin stuff.
They do. That's why we have to have these parks, man. Otherwise,
Yep.
it'd all be gone.
Exactly.
Wind Cave, Jewel Cave. I've been to Wind Cave.
I've never been to either one of those
No.
caves.
No, I've never been there.
I've been to a couple others, but I've
Wind-
never been to those.
Wind
I've heard
Cave
they're
was
good.
fun. It was like an actual cave, like what I feel like a cave. In your
Okay.
mind when you're a kid and you think about a cave, and then you go in there and then they turn out the light, and it is dark.
It's like dark, like you've never seen.
It's
dark.
like dark inside of me. Dark. It's dark. It's dark. It's darker than this beer.
it's dark.
That's
like
how
you're-
dark it is.
Dark, like you're so
Totally fun though. Like it was from what I remember a decent little walk to get there. And we had a guided tour. It was fun. I would if you're in the area, check it out for sure.
Yeah.
And then let's see. One other thing I had was Deadwood. It's pretty close, right? Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they. So I mean, I wouldn't. It's kind of neat to just kind of drive through and say you've been there and kind of walk Main Street. They do the reenactments of the
TV show?
Hickok. No,
Oh.
no, I know we loved that show, Deadwood
Yeah.
on
Movies,
HBO.
I think wrapped shooting now. It's post production.
They,
Did they
had
do?
a Deadwood movie.
They're working on it right now. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
with I don't know, most of the people that survived it. I guess the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
it'll be out soon.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I don't know. They have a couple restaurants and casinos and for like Mardi Gras, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, they do crazy events and people like to go up and just kind of drink and get crazy. But there are they do live concert events. And so basically what you can do, they do it for the Days of 76 and then they do it for Wild Bill Days, Wild
Okay.
Bill Hickok. So you can go and like set your chairs out like your folding chairs in the middle of Main Street. They have a stage at one end. And then you can buy these plastic pint glasses for like $5. And then it's open container. So you can go watch so you come back, have the concert starts. And you can just go from bar to bar and pay like they're really cheap, and you can have open container and just hang out and watch the concert. And
Interesting.
yeah,
There's a really good winery pretty close to Deadwood that I went to one time.
Really?
Yeah.
which one
I have to think. I have a picture I can look up later, but I can tell you what it was.
was it?
but-
Prairie Berry?
Yep, that was the one.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is actually in Hill City,
Okay.
South Dakota. So
I
it's-
think, and there was at the end of the street, there was like maybe this was back when I was there, but there was they had like a shop Like that winery had a shop, maybe just in the summertime. And you could buy their bottles. There was like a tasting room or like a tap room, but it was for the winery.
Interesting.
At the end of the road.
So that's a huge place, and now they also have a brewery as well.
Nice.
Called Minor Brewing, which is another one of our favorites.
That's one of the biggest breweries in South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So, my experience with Deadwood is that it's not super kid friendly.
No.
It's more an adult thing.
Well, yeah, it's gambling and like gunfight history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we're into that.
Is the Kevin Costner restaurant still there though?
He sold that a few years ago.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
There was some fun like Kevin Costner movie props and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
there,
all the
so-
memorabilia.
Yeah, Field
Like
of
Dances
Dreams,
with Wolves stuff.
Dances
Had
with
to be all
Everything.
that,
Wolves
right?
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
tons of good stuff.
Yeah. But there are also so Deadwood and Lead, the city of Lead, like they're kind of like those twin little cities right there. There are some really cool. There's like the Adams House and the museum, and there's also the open cut where they are like it goes like 6 stories deep, and so you can go to the Homestake. It's the Homestake Museum, and you can go and learn about the mining that has been going on for years and still goes on. So you at the back of this museum is where the mine. I mean, it just is open cut, so it is deep. So they let you. There's a driving range, so you can always get a hole in one. So you can do that. So that is kind of cool.
The only time I'd ever have one.
Ever.
Use a putter.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is something that's kind of unexpected that people don't know a lot about, but is very, very cool and unique to that part of the country.
Interesting. I got one for you.
Okay.
Bear Country, USA.
I've never been, but it sounds like the kind of place where there's tame-ish bears.
Tame-ish, yes.
Like, they're still bears. Like, you wouldn't want to tickle one or anything.
Right, no.
But, yeah.
Don't feed the bears. Don't
Right.
get out of your
Especially
car.
at this place.
You drive through. It's like a drive-through park or whatever. Which is, have you been here? Have you
Oh,
been?
yeah, many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super cool. There's bears everywhere. If you go when they feed them, it's awesome.
Yep.
Like they're just chucking big things of produce out, and the bears are eating them and climbing trees. And
I want it to be like Jurassic Park. Put the goat in there, man. Let's see what's up.
Well, there's some mountain goats.
Oh.
There's some mountain goats and bighorn sheep and elk and reindeer and
yeah,
the wolves, the white, the Arctic wolves. There's some of the like
PowerWolf by chance?
PowerWolf. Yeah, he's had some. They've had some.
I'm ashamed of those wolves aren't taking more advantage of the easy kills that are in the Bear Country, USA.
Well,
you would think.
So they have the grates, and so they can't go anywhere. So they're like in the open, but they can't go anywhere because they will fall in the
They need to
grates.
figure out how to get over those.
They are currently working on it, I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
They are thinking a plan through. And we'll see it on the news someday.
Absolutely.
Wolf
There's some
attack.
buffalo there too, actually, that you can see. A few.
It is
That
fun.
sounds
It's-
good.
It's fun.
So lots of options
Absolutely.
around
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
God, I think we said this in the last episode. I love this part of the country. I
Yep.
would go back there in a minute. Oh, so beautiful.
You're always welcome.
There used to
do
be
this.
a place. This was back. Okay, so this was back the first time we went. It was called Roo Ranch. Roo,
Oh, yes.
R-O-O. Remember Roo Ranch? It's Kangaroos.
Kangaroos.
Yes.
Huh.
And it was great. It's not. I don't think it's there anymore. It's too bad.
Totally off topic, but related to kangaroos. Did you ever see the episode of the Beverly Hillbillies that had the kangaroo?
No.
Granny, right? She had some particularly strong moonshine one day. And there was a kangaroo. It was a boxing kangaroo, like you did back in the 50s or 60s.
Where?
This is real. And, well, not that, but it's a real TV show. And it escaped from the circus or whatever, and it ended up in her backyard. And she thought it was like a really big mouse.
Oh.
And it went around and so she had to like punch it in the kitchen. She had like a showdown with this kangaroo that was wearing boxing gloves. They're mean.
Oh,
They're
Granny.
mean.
A
Yeah.
boxing kangaroo.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good episode. One of the penultimate episodes.
Granny wasn't. You didn't mess with her.
No,
She
you
was
did
still
not.
a cookie.
I'm gonna guess Granny won. Did she win?
I think, yeah, it was
Yeah?
TKO.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Once again, humans are terrible. Putting boxing gloves on a.
I'm guessing like animal wrangling was different back then.
Possibly.
You know, it probably wasn't as regulated as is now on a TV show, but
Yeah.
had a chance. She was like an 80-year-old woman, and it was a full-grown kangaroo.
Man.
What other spots do you have on your list?
Yeah.
Anything else?
The only other thing I wrote down was a couple of things, not spots, but just little factoids I thought were cool. 1930. Is that middle of the Depression, around there? Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chamber of Commerce, they write a letter and they say, "Hey, Al Capone, why don't you come here? Why don't you come live here? We got no problem with what you're doing.
Wow.
Just show up here."
Sure.
And the governor was like, "What? No, you can't come here." So he didn't get to come. And then the population of the town I see is around 70,000-ish is what I found. In 1940, it was 14,000 people. And then in 1948, it was almost 28,000 people. And the reason for that was a Army Air Force Base, Rapid City Army Air Base was built. And a lot of people came in the 40s to that area for that reason. So that's, wartime, World War II, prepping and building up and that sort of stuff.
All right.
And then the only other, I looked at some famous folks from this town. Adam Vinatieri. Know him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's older than me. He's older than you.
No.
He's still in the NFL.
No, he's-
No. Really?
I think he
He's-
graduated in like 90.
He's 46.
Okay.
So 90. Probably 90.
Really?
He's still in the NFL.
I don't.
He is the all-time
You're lying.
scoring leader for the NFL.
Okay. Well, that I do believe. Yes.
All-time postseason scoring person in the NFL. More field goals than anybody.
Yep.
And is from that town.
Born in 1972. You're right.
I think he has a house there, and I think he built his parents a house not too far from us.
I used to work with his brother back in the day at State Farm.
Did you really?
Yeah.
He went to like South Dakota State. Was that it?
I think so, yeah.
I can't remember where he went to college.
Interesting.
So, yeah, he's from there. So he knows all about Dinosaur Park and Reptile Gardens.
There we go.
That's what I got.
Kevin Costner is a huge fan of the area.
Because of Dancing with Wolves, right? I mean,
Well,
it
he
was-
came out and that was 30 years ago next year.
Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, 1990.
We are old.
So we watched it a few weeks ago, and it was kind of cool to see some of the stuff, and my husband was like, well, there's Spearfish Canyon, and there's so-and-so, and it was just kind of cool. But his parents still live in Rapid City. They moved out there, and so they live there. But he fell in love with it.
I used to stalk Kevin Costner at the College World Series because
Yes.
I want him to sign a baseball for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a signed Kevin Costner baseball.
Maybe this year.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'll sign one for you. I'll put his name on.
As Kevin Costner?
Yeah,
Could you write the little cool for the love of the game?
if you want.
Little
That's
quote
extra. That's
description
like
on
$5 extra, but I'll do it.
$5. That's cheap.
I'll
for
wear
a
a
description.
Stanford hat, too.
Perfect.
All right.
Yep.
Done.
Awesome.
One more thing on you're talking about the Air Force Base. So
Yeah.
Ellsworth Air Force Base is one of the top Air Force bases in the country, and it was just announced a couple weeks ago that we will be the first Air Force base to get the B-27. We have the B-1,
Yeah.
and now we will be getting B-27, B-21, whatever it is, but it's the next amazing fighter plane that is.
How big
so
is
we're
that
really
Air Force
excited.
base? Is it big?
Yeah, it's a good size.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
Ours is still underwater. That's out
That is
here.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got hit by lightning. Did you see that?
I did see that. That was
crazy.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going to look up the Untapped rating. Any
Okay.
ideas on the Untapped rating for this beer?
I would wager that there's hardly any check-ins for this one.
You're probably right.
And then I would also wager the people that have checked into it. I'm gonna say 3.35.
PowerWolf. 294 ratings.
That's pretty small.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
3.82.
Ooh, nice.
Not bad.
Very good.
Not
very
bad.
good.
5%, 28 IBUs. I would argue with the 26 IBUs. I would argue it's maybe a little bit more bitter than that. Maybe.
Well, you're used to drinking IPAs that have 10 IBUs now still, so it
Yeah.
is more bitter than what you're used to,
Yeah.
but that's still very low on the IBU scale.
I can't argue with the 3.82 though. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's totally fair.
I would love to drink a big glass of this in Deadwood at the bar. Do they distribute, or is it only this place?
Well,
the
they just
brewery.
started doing 4-packs of cans, and I was going to bring Rich the hazy IPA in 4-packs, and they had sold out. So I had to get the crowlers.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a really good
Yeah,
swing.
they have a pecan porter that always sells out too.
That sounds good.
Notice
It's pretty decent.
pecan,
Not pecan?
not
Pecan.
pecan. We had this conversation
Yeah, we
before.
did.
Yes, pecan. This must be a north-south thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
So, all right. Well, Kristen, thank you so much. I really appreciate. First, I appreciate you coming back. Secondly, I
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing the beer.
This
for
was
us.
probably the
Absolutely.
most on the rails podcast we've ever done.
kind
We
of.
really didn't stray too far. And it was informative. It was probably like technically the best one.
I think from a technical standpoint, it might be the best
Like
one.
someone actually listened to this and learned something. Or like, oh, I can maybe go here.
No. I
think
always
so.
like it when we get off the rails.
Well, that's the next one.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Kristen, Brian, thank you.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next week.